Gopichana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Rajatanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihare Gopichana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Rajatanaranjana Yasodanandana Rajatanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Navacharya Sadhana Krishna. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananda Kuri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Namacharya Thakur ki jai Prem Saga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasagoura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Girigavaran ki jai Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Mathura Dham ki jai, Navitam ki jai, Bhungamai ki jai, He Yamunamai ki jai, Tudasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktanda ki jai, Gaura Pramanandi. All glories to the seven devotees, all glories to the seven devotees, all glories to the seven devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Warum gibt es denn hier zwei Mikrofone?
Eines von den YouTube-Kanal.
Ha?
Eines von YouTube, sodass das
Ja, und das andere?
Also das ist vorzusprechen für uns. Das
Ach so, nur zur Lautstärke, für Lautstärke. Okay. Namaste Krishna Messiah Buddha. Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashachasatarine. So we'll read from the Transcendental Diary, Travels with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, August 1976 to October 1976 by Hari Saudi Das. My mysterious weakness has gradually declined, and I was fit enough to resume my massage duties today. I confess to having been in some anxiety that Srila Prabhupada might dismiss me as his servant due to my inability to function during this last week. But he was mercifully allowing me to remain within his quarters, never once suggesting that I be replaced. Srila Prabhupada surprised me this afternoon by requesting me to set up his dictaphone in his prasad room. It was wonderful to see him translate during the day. So determined to preach. This is the first time I have seen him do this since Hawaii. Despite feeling ill and being heavily involved in the management here, he has not slackened off his translation work at all. Subhavilas Prabhu arrived today from Toronto. He showed Prabhupada photos of a restaurant they have acquired and gave a report on the temple there. Prabhupada was pleased to see the progress. However, when Subhavilas complained about the standard of management in Canada and proposed that Srila Prabhupada appoint him as the GBC, Prabhupada declined to get involved. He directed him instead to the GBC body, telling him that if they agreed, he had no objection. Shravananda Prabhu also arrived from New York. He filmed the New York Vatha Yatra in July, and he showed it to Srila Prabhupada this evening. Prabhupada was delighted to see it, and he told Shravananda, now you take it and show it all over Bengal, and then ask them if this is the CIA or not. He said that by seeing this movie, people will understand that we are genuine, and that it will be a good weapon for counteracting the bogus propaganda the communists disseminate, that we are linked to the CIA. Shravananda decided to take Srila Prabhupada's instruction seriously and is making plans to fulfill this request. He is not returning to his post as co-president of the Madras Temple. Hare Krishna. Anyway, so this, what's mentioned here about the CIA, I heard it was even brought up in the Indian Parliament. Yeah, so, and Srila Prabhupada, as we hear here, Srila Prabhupada was very inspired to see the film of the Ratha Yatra. Actually Prabhupada was very much pushing Ratha Yatra everywhere. It all started in San Francisco. Then Shamashunda came to, he made the first Ratha Yatra in San Francisco, and then Shamashunda came to London, and he started doing the Ratha Yatra there too. I still remember that whenever they had a Ratha Yatra there, everyone went there. All the temples from Germany, from Paris, from Sweden, they all went to participate in the Ratha Yatra. And not all, we would not see Prabhupada every time. I remember it was announced that Prabhupada would come, but he didn't show up. And then we were supposed to get second initiation at that time. And instead of giving the Gayatri Mantra himself, he sent a tape. I still remember that. Gurudas was doing the ceremony and all that, and then he gave us a tape. And while we were hearing the tape, he fell asleep. I still remember that. Anyway, any questions? Or any comments? Hare Krishna, welcome. Where are you from?
Lithuania.
Huh?
Lithuania.
Lithuania. Oh. Okay, Hare Krishna. I'm sorry to use this machine, but I have problem with my eyes. And I need big letters. Oh, where are we reading? I didn't put it on here. Where is it? Where are we? Huh?
6.
Madhya?
Madhya Lila?
Yeah.
Chapter 6, 175.
175. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. What's the headline of the chapter?
The headline, The Liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya.
Still Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Tattvamasi jiva hetu parishika vakya pranavana vanita dekahama vakya Tattvamasi jiva hetu pariksha vakya. Pranavana manitare kahe mahavakya.
Tattvamasi jiva hetu pradeshika vakya. Pranavanamanitare kahe mahavakya.
Tattvamasi jiva hetu pradeshika vakya. Pranavana manitare kare mahavakya. Tattvamasi jiva hetu pradeshika vakya.
Kya. Pranavana manitare kahe mahavakya. Ladies, die Damen. Tattvamasi jiva hetu parishiva vakya. Pranavana manitare kahe mahavakya. Tattvamasi jiva hetu parishiva vakya. Pranavana manitare kahe mahavakya. Tattvamasi jiva hetu parishiva vakya. Pranavana manitare kahe mahavakya. Pranavasi jiva hetu parishiva vakya. Tattvamasi. You are the same. Jiva hetu. For the enlightenment of the conditioned soul. Pradeshika. Subsidiary. Vakya. Vibration. Pranava. The Omkara incarnation. Na. Not. Mani. Accepting. Tare. That. Kahe. Says. Mahavakya. Transcendental vibration. Translation. The subsidiary vibration, Tattvamasi, you are the same, is meant for the understanding of the living entity, but the principal vibration is Omkara. Not caring for Omkara, Shankaracharya has stressed the vibration Tattvamasi. Purport. Tattvamasi is accepted as a primary vibration by one who does not accept pranava, the transcendental sound incarnation of the holy name of the Lord, as the chief principle in the Vedic literature. By word jugglery, Shankaracharya tried to create an illusory presentation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his relationship with the living entities and the cosmic manifestation. Tattvamasi is a warning to the living entity not to mistake the body for the self. Therefore, Tattvamasi is especially meant for the conditioned soul. The chanting of Omkara or the Hare Krishna mantra is meant for the liberated soul. Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Ai mukta kulair apashyamanam, namastaka 1. Thus, the holy name of the Lord is chanted by the liberated souls. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj says, Nivrita Dharshair Upagiyamanat, Bhagavatam 10:1-4. The holy name of the Lord can be chanted by those who have fully satisfied their material desires, or who are fully situated on the transcendental platform and devoid of material desire. The name of the Lord can be chanted by one who is completely free from material contamination. Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. Shankaracharya has indirectly minimized the value of the principal Vedic mantra Omkara by accepting a subordinate vibration, Tattvamasi, as a most important Vedic mantra. So we are right in the middle of the presentation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of the Vedanta Sutra. Pachakananda Saraswati had spoken for many days to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 7 days. And in the end, he was very surprised that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't have any question. The story goes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come to the temple in Jagannath Puri, and by taking darshan of the deities, he felt unconscious, in ecstasy. He fell to the floor. And Samabhadacharya had just been in the temple, and he observed this young sannyasi. And he was very surprised to see a sannyasi so young, because normally the 4 orders have their rules, like first 25 years education, then grihastha, then vanaprastha, and then sannyas. So he never seen a sannyasi so young. And not only young, but also extremely beautiful. It says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so beautiful. He was very high, big, had a very tall body. He immediately called the attention when he appeared. Everyone stared at him. Anyway, so he came into the temple, and when he fell unconscious in front of the altar, the guards immediately came. They didn't allow him to. They didn't want to allow him to sleep in front of the deity. They thought he was sleeping. And so Samabhadacharya interfered. He stopped them. And he asked them to bring Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, because he wanted to, observe him closely. He had heard that devotees go through, sometimes manifest ecstatic symptoms, and that one of the symptoms was to fall unconscious, like that. But he had never seen that before. And he was actually, Samabhadacharya was a pandit of the court. He was a very famous pandit, very, very learned. And it says that from all over India, people came, or young people came to study under him. So he was very famous also. Anyway, but he was not a devotee. He was a jnani, or he was, well, let's say he was an impersonalist. Because this is the utmost, realization you can have without being a devotee. Anyway, so he took him home. He started testing him. He saw that he was unconscious, completely unconscious. So he, to see if he was still alive, he got some cotton and put it in front of his, nose, to see he was still breathing. So he discovered, he was breathing very, very, very slowly. And after observing him, didn't come to any conclusion. In the meantime, the devotees arrived at the temple, at the Lion's Gate, the main gate in the temple in Jagannath Puri. Anyway, so when they arrived, the topic, everyone was speaking about it. A young, very beautiful sannyasi had come to the temple, and he fell unconscious in front of the altar like that, and that he had been taken to the house of Samabhadacharya. Anyway, so devotees knew, they had experience with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, falling in ecstasy or tiring his external consciousness, like that. Anyway, they knew what to do. So they ran to the house of Sarvabhaumacharya and they started a heavy kirtan, heavy metal kirtan, like we say today. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he came back to external consciousness. He was very surprised to see his followers. Actually, the reason why he had traveled alone, because he had a problem. He had a problem with Nityananda, because he had just taken sannyas, and sannyasis normally have a danda, tridanda. Of course, nowadays it's a little impractical sometimes to travel with a danda. I have personal experience with this. They didn't want to let me take the danda, or how I say, open. What is that? Yeah, inside, where the seats are, and they took it by force, no. And I remember in Colombia, it was in Colombia, Medellin, and they gave me in Cali. So they gave me the danda broken in 3 pieces, 2 times broken. Sometimes our sannyasis, they have very special dandas. They put the gewinde. How is it, gewinde? Yeah. Or they have it like they make it small like that.
From the fishing rod, those things are putting in my hand.
So anyway, and then it also says after 10 years, actually it says that when you achieve the platform of Paramahansa, Uttama Adhika, you don't need to take the danda anymore. Anyway, whatever it is, most of our sannyasis, at least maybe they have their dandas in different places. Many dandas. Actually, I have also danda here, but I want Hare Krishna. Anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas. And the devotees didn't like this very much, especially Nityananda, because he understood this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What he has to follow rules and regulations. Anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was insisting. He actually came to play the role of a devotee, and not only devotee, exemplary devotee, following very strictly all the rules and regulations in order to teach. Acharya, devotees are supposed to give an example. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, whatever a great man does, common man will follow. This is one of the responsibilities all of us have, not only the sannyasis. Every devotee has this responsibility to give a good example. Just like when new people come to the temple, they need these examples. How to do everything properly. And actually we have rules and regulations, so many rules and regulations. Rupa Goswami mentioned in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Prabhupada called it the science of Bhakti Yoga. He gives so many principles, 64 principles of devotional service. So many. And these principles, like I mentioned many times, that actually Rupa Goswami mentioned this. 5 of these principles are the most important. Starting with sadhu sangha, association with devotees. Very important principle. Actually, he explains that every one of these principles has a potency to reawaken our affection, our love for Krishna within the heart. So starting with sadhu sangha, the nama kirtana, the chanting of the holy names. Then Bhagavata Shravana, escuchar, I'm speaking Spanish now, the hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Bhagavatam, Mathura Vasa, Mathura Vasa, means to reside in a holy place. Just like when we visit Vrindavan or Mayapur, or, that you notice there's a different atmosphere. And actually everything we do, like chanting and hearing, reading, associating with devotees, there's a lot of more potency, more spiritual potency there. Anyway, so actually Prabhupada created so many holy places all over the world. Just like Köln is also a holy place. No? Actually, the temple, of course, the temple. No? Nicht der Dom. No? Anyway, so this is the fourth principle, and then the fifth principle is Srimutira Sadaya Sevana. No? Anyway, coming back to the point, no? So devotees are supposed to be exemplary. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. No? He was actually very austere. No? And devotees who knew who he was, they didn't agree with this. No? They thought it was not really necessary. No? Anyway, so because of this, at one point Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his danda to Nityananda because it was going to take a bath. No? And when he came back from bath, he asked, "Where's my danda?" And Nityananda he said he had broken it and thrown it into the river. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to travel alone, leave all his followers behind. And so when they arrived in Jagannath Puri, they immediately went to the place and made a kirtan. They knew. I don't remember the devotee's name, but he was like the Schwiegersohn. What is that in English? No, Samabhavaracharya. Huh? Yeah, right. So he immediately started preaching to Samabhavaracharya. This is the supreme person of God. Surrender, surrender. But Samabhavaracharya couldn't accept it just like that. Now, but he felt compassion with Samabhavaracharya. That was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He thought that this sannyas is so young and beautiful, that he probably surely will have some problems. So I educate him properly. And so he started. Now he offered Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach him Vedanta Sutra. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting there for 7 days. He was just sitting there and hearing the commentaries, Samabhavaracharya. And then in the end, Samabhavaracharya was kind of disturbed. He thought, you don't understand anything, or I don't have any questions like that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, I understand the Vedanta Sutra. I don't understand your comments. And he compared the Vedanta. He said the Vedanta Sutra is like the sun, whereas your commentaries are just like the clouds covering the sun. And then Samabhavaracharya turned around and said, now, okay, let's listen to your commentary. And that's what's happening here. We're still reading the commentary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, we know at the end, when Samabhavaracharya had heard all the commentaries of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he started thinking, oh, this must be the compiler. How is he? Not the compiler of the Vedanta Sutra. Must be God, must be an incarnation of God. And then in the end, he surrendered. He surrendered. And it's mentioned Chaitanya Caritamrta, he was very, very learned. So immediately compiled 100 verses glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the end, that separate from that, he also composed a very nice verse. Vairagya Vida Nida Bhakti Yoga, Shikshartamega Purusha Purana, Sri Chaitanya Sadiradari, Kripamburi Jashtam Mahambabadi. That means that actually this person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he came to teach us what is real knowledge and what is real renunciation. A very nice verse. Actually, this verse, when Samabhavaracharya compiled this verse, and he wanted to show it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And before, he showed it to the other devotees. And the other devotees, they were very, very, very impressed by this verse. And they knew if he shows this to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will destroy it. Because he didn't want to accept being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they wrote it on a wall outside the house, no? So they wouldn't get lost. No, and this way everyone could read the verse. Yeah, and that was actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, no? To present, no, by his own example, to present no, not only devotional service, but devotional service on the highest grade. No, actually, this is not taught by any other incarnation. No, just like it says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful form of the Lord. No, we all know that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna ends his instructions by saying, give up all your duty, all your dharmas, and surrender to me. No, and I don't worry. Asucha, don't worry. I take care of all the consequences and all the reactions like that. And no, so this was the last instruction in Bhagavad Gita. No. But so this Bhagavad mentioned that this Krishna made, Krishna put a condition. He said, you surrender and then I give you my mercy. No. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't put this condition. No. He gave everybody love of God, or the process to experience what the love of God is. No. And not only that, he also manifested love of God on the highest platform, Madhurya Ras. No, actually, what that means, there's the relationship with Krishna, and it culminates, let's say, in Madhurya Ras. But the most ecstatic form of Madhurya Ras is feeling the separation of Krishna, not being with Krishna, but the intense, intense separation. And this is actually also what we hear from the Goswamis. They would never say, oh, I saw Krishna. Did you see Krishna too? Like that. But they were always crying, where's Krishna? Where's Krishna? Where's Krishna? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing this, I'm showing this ecstatic symptoms. He was always crying for Krishna like that. Anyway, so coming back to the point here, that Samabhadacharya he was now hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving very elaborate, explanations of the real relationship that the soul has with Krishna. Mamaivang sajiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Krishna says, the living entities are my eternal parts and parcels. At no point we lose our individual identity. It's not that we become one with some energy or some light like that. That's not the. This is actually the Prabhupada used to say, this is the last trap of Maya. You're advancing, and in the end, you deviate. And you try to submerge, become one with the impersonal Brahman. So anyway, this, there's another nice verse about this. I don't remember the Sanskrit, but the meaning, the translation was, sometimes, somebody might come to the realization, oh, I've become one with God. But then it says, because his intelligence is not completely purified, he doesn't see the necessities to surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord, or to engage himself in the service of the Lord. And because this is our natural tendency to be active, where we are dynamic souls, we are always active. And as soon as we stop being active, then we are not really satisfied, and we become again attracted to other kinds of activities on lower platforms. And so they again, the verse says that after that, they again feel attracted to activities on the material platform. And Srila Prabhupada speaking about that, he mentioned that sometimes somebody becomes a big transcendentalist, apparently, but after a while he comes again and he comes down again and occupies himself in how you say, in works of charity, like probably to open a hospital or something like that, because he's not really satisfied he never achieved real satisfaction by his so-called transcendental activities, merging into the impersonal Brahman. So this Samabhadacharya was also that kind of person. But the incredible, inconceivable mercy of the Lord, he had personal association with Chaitanya. Of course, we know that all these intimate associates of Krishna and also of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were not ordinary persons. And it says, Krishna Vanam Trisha Krishna Sangupanga Sabai Yagyai Sankirtana Prai Yajanti Samesa. It says that the Lord appeared with his eternal associates and ashtra, also weapons like that. So he is always accompanied by very special persons. They're not ordinary persons, ordinary people, but they're his eternal associates. Just like I mentioned the other day, I have a book where all these, what is the name of that book? Remember? Yeah. It's a very interesting book. It gives all the names of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and revealing who's who. And who these persons were in the pastimes of Krishna when he appeared 5,000 years ago. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna appeared in a family of Kshatriyas, great kings, like very powerful families. And his eternal associates, they also appeared like, in the same mood. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, all his eternal associates also appeared in the same mood as devotees, practicing devotional service, assisting the Lord in his eternal pastimes, like that. Anyway, so Samabhadacharya, I don't remember who remember who he was? That he has no. Anyway, this is a question of investigation. Can you have it there on your?
I find it out.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Samabhadacharya, at the end, he surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and took part in his pastimes of spreading Krishna consciousness. There's another pastime of Samabhadacharya. He had a son. What was the name of the son? Anybody remember? And he was known to be a very envious person. He always envied the devotees. Nobody knows his name. Anyway, so one time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, no, don't speculate if you don't know. Amoga! Thank you very much. He's from your area there? Yeah. Anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was invited by Samabhadacharya to take prasad at his home. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to accept the invitation because he was trying to give a good example of a sannyasi, not visiting the household and eating great feasts and all that. Sannyasis are supposed to give an example. So he didn't want to accept the invitation first. But Samabhadacharya insisted, and finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the invitation. And this anyway. So what happened was exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to avoid. They had cooked a big feast for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Samabhadacharya had left a stick on the side of the door in case of Amoga, if Amoga would appear all of a sudden. So anyway, he put the stick there and it served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all of a sudden, BAM! The door opened. And there was Amoga. And immediately, Sarvabhadracharya grabbed the stick and started running behind Amoga. But because Sarvabhadracharya was a little elderly and Amoga was young, he couldn't reach him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was observing this pastime. He was observing and smiling like that. And then finally he got up and left. And then after a while he asked the devotees, so how is Sarvabhadracharya doing? And they told him, yes, what is that disease that you get when the water is contaminated? What is that? Huh? No, don't speculate. No. I don't remember the name of the disease. Anyway, so they told him now he was very diseased and he was about to die. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that, he really went to see Amoga. And he asked him, Amoga, how come? You have been born in a Brahmin family. Your parents are very, very elevated personalities. How come you have let your heart become contaminated by this envy? And then Amoga asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh please, forgive me, I made a big mistake like that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, chant Hare Krishna, Amoga. Sorry. Chant the holy name. And Amoga started chanting. And by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he became completely purified of his sinful reactions. And then he went back to see Sarvabhadracharya. And they were very, very disturbed. They had been very, very disturbed. And it says in the Chaitanya Caritamrta that they were actually fasting because of the offense that had been committed at their home. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, but he's your, how you say, was he his son or was it Schwiegersohn? What is that? Yeah? I don't remember that. Huh?
Son-in-law.
Huh?
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law, he was son-in-law, right. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sarvabhadracharya, you shouldn't have taken it so serious. He's a young person and he's your family member, so don't be so harsh with him. And so, they became peaceful again. Actually, it says that Amoga became a devotee also. Anyway, so I spoke a lot about following this purport here, but actually we are used to reading more verses in the Chaitanya Caritamrta class, isn't it? You have a question?
The answer I got is Brihaspati. I couldn't go closer than that.
Sorry?
I asked somebody and he said Sarvabhauma was Brihaspati.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Who did you ask?
Sarvabhauma.
He should have known, right? Matte kalpita vashya sata dosha nila Bhattacharya purva puksha apara karira. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu criticized Sankaracharya. Sankaracharya's Shariraka Bhasya as imaginary. And he pointed out hundreds of faults in it. To defend Sankaracharya, however, Sarvabhadracharya presented unlimited opposition. There's no purport. Vitandachale vikrahari aneka utaila sabekande prabhunija matase sapila. The Bhattacharya presented various types of false arguments with pseudo-logic and tried to defeat his opponent in many ways. However, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refuted all these arguments and established his own conviction. Purport. The word vitanda indicates that a debater not touching the main point or establishing his own point, simply tries to refute the other person's argument. When one does not touch the direct meaning but tries to divert attention to misinterpretation, he engages in chala. The word nigraha also means always trying to refute the arguments of the other party. That means he just to keep his position, he started arguing all kinds of things, presenting all kinds of things. Bhagavan Sambandha Bhakti Abhideyahaya Prema Prayojana Vedetina Vastukaya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the central point of all relationships. Acting in devotional service to Him is one's real occupation, and the attainment of love of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life. These three subject matters are described in the Vedic literature. So there's a purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Lord Krishna confirms this statement, Vedaishtavaidaham eva vedya. The actual purpose in reading the Vedas is to learn how to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. The Lord Himself advises, Manmanabhava mad bhakto madhyadimam namaskuru. Bhagavad Gita 9:34. Therefore, after studying the Vedas, one must then execute devotional service by thinking always of the Supreme Lord, Manmana, becoming His devotee, worshipping Him, and always offering Him obeisances. This is called Vishnu Aradhana, and it is the supreme occupational duty of all human beings. It is properly discharged in the Varnashrama Dharma system, which divides society into Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, and Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. This is the whole scheme of Vedic civilization. However, this institution is very difficult to establish in this age. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises that we not worry about the Vedic system of Varnashrama Dharma. Rather, we should take directly to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and simply hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from pure devotees. This is the process recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is the purpose of studying the Vedas. Yeah, no, it's actually, no, Sri Prabhupada many times mentioned devotional service is actually very simple, very simple. You know, whereas material life is very complicated. When you become a devotee, life becomes simple. Prabhupada gave this, he said that simple life and high thinking. As soon as you get involved with material life, there's so many necessities, so many problems, so many complications like that. But when you take up devotional service, as it is, life becomes very simple. I don't want to offend anybody, but whenever I visit Grihastas, I'm always surprised how many things they have in their house. So many things, that. I was just staying with a Grihasta. He had at least 100 towels in the bathroom. And so many other things, wow. And as soon as you become a devotee, if you actually execute devotional service as it is, life becomes very simple. Krishna is given the devotee everything he needs. Just like Prabhupada. He came to America with only 40 rupees. 40 rupees. And very, very few articles of use, personal use. But he brought boxes of books. Anyway, so Yeah, so the Supreme Personality of God is the central point of all relationships. As soon as this, Krishna becomes manifest in the center, there's harmony, there's friendship, respect, like all this. Bhoktaram yagyatavasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim richati. Krishna gives us a peace formula. Peace formula. What is that in form in English? Formula Spanish. What is that? Form. Yeah? Form? Huh? Formula also? Peace formula. Okay. So as soon as we accept Krishna in the center, like and understanding that Krishna is Bhoktaram Yakatavasam, he is a enjoyer. That he is actually the central, the supreme enjoyer of all our activities. Anyway, whatever we do, whatever we give away, what was that? 3 things. I don't remember now. Anyway, so Krishna should be the enjoyer. Let's take like when we cook in the kitchen. Our cooks, when they cook, they follow strict principles. Not that all of a sudden they're. My mother used to do that when she cooked. She always tasted it if it was properly done. Hare Krishna. Anyway, so, and Krishna, Bhaktaranya, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Actually, Krishna is the only proprietor of everything. He's the creator. And he's actually, it says that he's a proprietor of everything. Sarvaloka, all planets. Not only planets, universes also. There's unlimited, I just heard Prabhupada say there's unlimited universes. Not just one. Anyway, so Krishna is a proprietor of everything. And then also Suriram Sarvadehinam. He's the only, what is that? Friend, friend. Yeah, only friend. We're always looking, I'm sorry? Well-wisher. Yeah, well-wisher and friend. So, and not only that, he is always present. He's always accompanying us within the heart, life after life. He is always there as Upadrashta Anumanta, as a witness and sanctioner. How you say? Erlaubnisgeber. Like that. So he's always there, observing us. And he knows us better than anybody else. He knows our whole history, life after life, and he is actually giving us the results of our activity, fulfilling our desires. We have no idea about the consequences of our desires, but there's a lot there. And this is what was keeping us in the cycle of birth and death, life after life. So he is observing us and always trying to do us well. And the best we can get is re-establish ourselves again in devotional service. Take up again our eternal relation with Krishna as servant, loving servants. So Prabhupada used to say that you make 1 step in direction to Krishna and Krishna makes 100 steps. Yeah. And this is what we're supposed to learn as devotees. Do everything for Krishna and do everything with devotion. Not just doing it like that. Isn't anybody else who can do that? No. Be ready to do whatever you ask for, whatever is a necessity at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so we're almost done. We read another verse. Or somebody wants to say something or ask something? I have a question. Yes. Huh? Speak louder.
Please accept my humble obeisances. I have a question. In the first verse, in the purport, it is written that only those people can chant the holy name who are free from material contamination. Mm-hmm. But my question was, I think I still have material contamination. I want.
Yeah, me too.
I'm attracted to beautiful sarees, beautiful homes, everything, you know. So I want everything.
There's different, yeah, there's different forms, and Bhakti Thakur mentioned that also. You know, there's different forms of chanting. You know, Nama Aparat. You know, we all say as Nama Aparat. That means we're chanting Hare Krishna, but at the same time, because of lack of experience and lack of knowledge, lack of purity, we commit all kind of offenses to. You know, Kanishta Adhikari. You know, Kanishta Adhikari can be very problematic devotees, new devotees. You know, they come in here and then, you know, maybe they come to the conclusion, I'm the best, you know, and be envious with everybody else, like that. No, they bring their qualities from the material world. No? Yeah. And then Nama Parat, Nama Basa, what's it? Nama Basa. Yeah? This is compared to, you know, before the sun comes up, becomes visible, there's already light there. I don't know how you say in English. It is.
Wrong.
Huh? What is that?
Wrong.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, right. Yeah, yes. And so, you know, one becomes cleared up. You know, he starts understanding things, and also he learns how to relate with the devotees. So the devotees much more advanced. There's devotees on the same platform, and there's devotees who are not so experienced. And he deals with these devotees in different ways. You know, he respects the senior devotees. He makes friendship with the devotees, you know, more or less on the same platform. And if there, you know, neophytes or new devotees appear, he gives them, I say, he's very compassionate, you know, instead of keeping them down there. You know. Just like in the material world, it's different. Somebody appears who's more important than you, become envious. You look for faults. And if somebody comes, you know, is in the same platform, like business, you know, the business, you know, as soon as somebody becomes more successful in his business, become envious. You know? That's what Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, you know, in the chapter where the demonic nature and the divine natures are mentioned. You know? So it says that the demons are thinking, well, I already killed this, how you say, competitor, and now we will also kill that competitor. Yeah? Anyway, and when somebody appears on, is less advanced or less, you try to keep him down there, exploit him, yeah, and make sure he doesn't advance. I just heard Prabhupada say that, just like the father, the father becomes very, satisfied when his sons have much more success in the business than he himself. And Prabhupada said the same way, the spiritual master, when he sees that the disciples are advancing, you know, instead of being envious, he becomes very, very, very satisfied seeing this. You know, just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, for example, you know, he spread his movement, the Gaudiya Math, all over India and also to Nepal, and you know, he also sent some disciples to Europe, to London, you know, to England, and also to Germany. No? But Prabhupada spread the movement all over the world. And within a very short time, actually, only 12 years. He came and he started, I'm just reading the new volume of Shamasundar's shooting rhinoceros. Rhinoceros? What's that?
Shooting the rhino.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And no, it's very interesting how he accompanied Srila Prabhupada. He accompanied Srila Prabhupada for a long time, actually. You know. And so he speaks about, you know, how Prabhupada was traveling. Also how he came to Mexico, you know, all the details. You know. And then he also Venezuela. Also he went to Venezuela one time, 2 times to Mexico. And actually Prabhupada had plans also to go to Brazil and Argentina like that. But then he became weak and couldn't travel so much anymore. And it was very interesting, how Prabhupada was very enthusiastic, always pushing. Sometimes he got a letter, Prabhupada would do, I will go also. I want to see that place. Always encouraging his disciples. Even when they had very little, they had offered very little, Prabhupada was always encouraging them. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how I got there now. Oh, you by your question. Did I answer your question?
Actually, my question was, why did I get the chance to chant the holy name? Because
Sorry.
say,
Well, how do you start your...
my question was, why did I get the chance, even if I have material desires? Because in the purport it was written, only those people can chant the holy names who are free from material contamination.
Yeah, but at the same time it says also, even if you're completely demonic, if you hear the holy name, you also benefit. Just like all the neighbors here. I've always mentioned that sometimes I have to do something during this time, go to the doctor or something like that, and devotees are chanting, and there's nothing going on in the rest of the and you hear it so far, the chanting, so far you can hear the devotees chanting, and they all hear, all the neighbors and all the people here, and every day. Ching, 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 ching. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So they becoming bad. I heard, there was one story once, many years back, that the devotees in one city in America, I think it was in Texas somewhere, and they had gotten a temple in a very, very low-class area. A lot of criminals, a lot of weird things going on. And then after some time, after they opened the temple there, the police, they would always make statistics. How say statistics? How the criminal was increasing or diminishing like that. And that part of the city had been the most criminal part. And after years, they found out that after the Hare Krishna temple opened there, it had gone down. So we shouldn't underestimate the influence of devotees or having a temple somewhere. She told me, Lilamita told me once, that she went out to distribute books. But she didn't go to the center of the city, but she started distributing books here to the neighbors. And there was a lady standing on the door, here across the street or something like that. And she offered a book, and the lady didn't know anything about us. Didn't know anything.
14 years.
Huh?
For 14 years she's living here.
For 14 years.
14 years.
Yeah. Often, when devotees have temples somewhere, they try to keep the neighbors peaceful, and so they don't distribute books there in the area. They go to places where the people don't know so much about. Anyway, but it's also important that we cultivate the neighbors. In South America, it's a little different. People are more emotional. Emotional? Yeah, more emotional. The Latins, the Latinos. So at Sunday, what am I saying? At Christmas, the devotees make cakes and distribute it to all the neighbors. Or when there's the end of the year, first the night of New Year. What is that? New Year, Sylvester. We always do Harinam at midnight, and we go out, and everyone is in a festive mood. How you say? They start dancing on the balconies and all that, and then many of these people get down, sing with us, because actually New Year they just look on TV. There's nothing happening, and then many of them come down and accompany us back to the temple, and we have a feast for them. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so is that okay?
Yes.
So what was my answer? What was my answer?
Even if there are demoniac people, they are also getting the chance.
Yeah, everyone gets a benefit.
You must have been a neighbor last life.
So it's nothing about Sukruti, right?
Huh?
It's nothing about Sukruti.
I don't understand the last word.
Is it Sukruti that you are chanting the holy
Ah, okay, yeah.
Is it? That's my question. Is it a Sukruti that you are chanting?
Sukriti, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I had some Sukriti. I just got the incredible mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Like I moved into the temple, the devotees convinced me to live with them. And then 10 days later, they said, Prabhupada is coming, Prabhupada is coming. And they asked me to get something for Srila Prabhupada, and I presented it to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah? And then before going out, I asked Prabhupada, can I be your disciple? Yeah? And my disciple, no, the Prabhupada moved his head like this. In India, when they say yes, they go like, huh? And one of the next days was Janmashtami, yeah? And we were initiated, yeah? Even though we were just been in the temple for that little time. And I still had long hair even, yeah. And when Prabhupada gave me the japa, he looked at me, and he looked at the devotees like, what is this guy? He's still with hair, And then Prabhupada said something. He said, you either shave or you leave your hair like this, and he pointed to the Panchatattva. Yeah? And don't touch your hair. How you say no? Don't. Yeah, no. And for years I had thought that this was my imagination, that I made this up or something. But then we had a meeting in Mayapur, reunion of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, some years back, many years back now. And so Shivananda was also there. Shivananda was the first devotee here in Germany. Yeah. So he had come, Prabhupada had sent him from America. And so Shivananda spoke first. Then I had to speak after him. But before I started speaking, Shivananda said, yes, when Prabhupada initiated devotees in Hamburg, he said, the one devotee had long hair still, and Prabhupada pointed to the Pancha. Wow, I realized it actually was true. I hadn't imagined this. But shortly, my hair became shorter and shorter and shorter. Hare Krishna. It's 9:00. Okay, any more? Anything else? Yeah? English?
English. Thank you for nicely acknowledging on the glories of Holy Name. I have a question regarding this connection with Mayavadi interpretation of Vedanta Sutra.
Mm-hmm.
And in Caitanya Caritamrta itself, there's a verse that Holy Name is completely pure and eternal and is not different from Krishna. Is always pure.
Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Sudoni Tumatu Abhinatvam Nama Yamino.
So my question, I ask this all of Maharajas because it's
Sorry?
a big question to me. I ask this question often. So when the devotee chants the holy name, and we also learn that Mayavadis also chant the holy name sometimes. Sometimes even do japa. So is chanting overall is considered, chanting of a holy name is considered a devotional service?
Yes.
It's counted also for Mayavadis that they perform devotional service.
Actually, we have to receive the seed of devotional service from pure devotee. That's a big difference.
Kamsa also chanted Krishna.
Sorry?
Kamsa was also remembering Krishna.
Yeah.
Only Lord.
So that bhakti element that makes the difference, seed, right?
Yes. I say to hear from the proper source. Just like we always mention the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Prabhupada. There have been so many Bhagavad Gitas before Prabhupada came. Prabhupada mentioned that in America, when he came to America, he found out there were like 700 editions of Bhagavad Gita, translations. But none of these Bhagavad Gitas had produced a single devotee. No? Well, when Prabhupada presented his Bhagavad Gita as it is, not that I think or maybe it is, when Prabhupada presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, it was a big difference. All over the world, people became devotees. When Prabhupada presented the holy name, it was very powerful. Yeah. But
I have another question.
huh? What do you?
Okay, Gauradesh.
Huh? You want me to distribute? Huh? What?
Would you like to?
Yes. Following the example of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada always gave prasadam. I remember in Vrindavan, no? when we saw Prabhupada in Vrindavan, in his house there, he was sitting on the seat he had, and there was a marble thing, white marble thing. What do you call this?
Illustration.
Yeah, balustration. No? And on that balustration, Prabhupada always a box with Mahaprasad. And when somebody left, Prabhupada said, give him prasad. He was always insisting that nobody left without receiving prasad. Yes. And we should do the same. We should make sure that there's always prasad in case of people leave before. We should always, yeah. Because Prabhupada said that once a person eats prasad, somewhere in the future he become a devotee. Yeah, very powerful. Of course it has to be prasad. It has to be prepared in the proper mood, with devotion and with following all the rules and regulations in the kitchen, like that. Yes. So please allow me to serve you prasad. Hast du mal gezählt? Die ist gar nicht, ja. Huh? Muss ich teilen? Okay, alles klar. Please. Close the curtain.
Smart Prasad Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Haribo. So this is coming from where?
This is from Gauradesh.
Oh, Gauradesh. Jai.